You look at what U.S. guidelines were in their presidential search, and they violated multiple of them. And worse than that, the person that they came up with is not representative of U.S. community. That includes LGBTQ plus folks who have had pregnancies.
Work we need to do. They have good rhythm. You got to give them that. A lot of times you get protesters and they're just a little bit off. They're clapping on the 1 and 3 versus the 2 and 4, or vice versa. But I mean, they feel like they have their act together.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about some woke students at the University of Florida who lost their minds over the possibility, the very real possibility, almost a certainty really at this point, that they are going to have a Republican president. And I don't mean a Republican president as in the president of the United States. They lost their mind over the fact that their university, the University of Florida, is on the cusp of making Senator Ben Sasse from Nebraska, who's a Republican, the next president of their university. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Ben Sasse is a very notorious anti-Trumper. He voted in favor of convicting President Trump during his 2021 Senate impeachment trial, which for his career means that that's the end of his career, right? And he knows that. The writing's on the wall. That's why he say, all right, you know what? I'm going to bow out and I'm going to go become the president of a university that does not want me to be president, right? In which, again, he was met with massive protests from these students who can't stand the idea that somebody who they disagree with politically is going to be the president of their university.
They have good rhythm.
Senator Ben Sasse faces protests and questions at the University of Florida. The senator visited the University of Florida campus, this time as Dr. Sasse. Good evening, I'm Julie Cornell.
And I'm Bill Shermer. Rob has the night off. A school search committee announced him as their sole finalist for school president just days ago. Now today, he's faced questions in a series of forums, and students, employees, and faculty didn't hold back. KETV News Watch 7's Alex McClune joins us live with tonight's big story. Alex?
Bill, Julie, school employees explored his time at Midland University and students pried into his job as a senator. So Ben Sasse, is now separating politics from personal beliefs. Protests disrupt the Nebraska senator's visit to the University of Florida as Dr. Ben Sasse.
Obviously, I wish they didn't have the position they had, but I strongly support the right of people to protest and exercise their free speech rights.
A school spokesperson says the third of 3 forums moved to another room at a university building. Here, Sasse is sitting next to the search committee chair.
Obviously, the disruption of the last section isn't the most fun experience in the world, but it is a proper and right thing for free speech.
During forums with students, staff, and school employees, Sasse was steadfast, saying politics won't flow into his job at Florida.
There are lots and lots of people in Nebraska who might not agree with my policy positions on X, Y, or Z, but they know that I care about them and value them as a person.
He defended his approach to gender identity, axing tenure at Midland University, and the rest of his political past.
One of the great opportunities we face at this moment at UF is the opportunity to recruit some of the best talent on earth. And we're not going to succeed at recruiting the best talent on earth if we don't have tenure as a key piece of that.
Sasse saying he wants to bring Florida and its students together into one community.
I'm here to assure you that I'm a big believer in a community this big and interesting and diverse, having lots of different voices heard.
Person says protesters left campus peacefully. Students there tell me security took Sasse off campus after today's forums. Bill, back to you.
All right, so you've seen that, you heard that. But what I really want to talk about is the response that students gave to a Fox News interview in which they explained why are they protesting Ben Sasse. And I want you guys to pay attention to what the complaints are of these students, because I think it really says a lot about the priorities of these woke students in college. And it is extremely sad, but everything wrong with our higher education system. Take a look.
You look at what UF's guidelines were in their presidential search, and they violated multiple of them. And worse than that, the person that they came up with is not representative of UF's community. That includes LGBTQ plus folks who have had pregnancies. And these are all, groups that Senator Sasse has stood against.
Angry. I feel really angry.
He is just too divisive and will fracture the UF community here.
That's how can the senator fully support our faculty, staff, students, and alumni who are in same-sex relationships and marriages, given his prior comments against those relationships.
I think that he lacks the experience to lead a university as big and prestigious as the University of Florida.
Not a high-character individual. His views are very right-wing, really far right, really kind of an alt-right guy.
The minority students, leftist students, are very opposed to this and think it might be a danger for our university.
We are here not just to protest the oppressive views of UF's sole presidential finalist, but to demand more from our top 5 universities.
Ben Sasse is on the record anti-gay marriage, anti-transgender people, and anti-abortion. He poses a threat to all students that may be queer or non-men.
He has celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Well, I'm concerned about his past comments on climate change.
I'm from Wyoming, which is right next to Nebraska. Similar cultural environments. For me, it was a huge cultural shock coming to Florida. I bet for him it's going to be, pretty shocking as well. He poses a threat to taking away our essential health care and to taking away our essential rights and being discriminatory on campus.
He continues to divide people and not unite.
How diverse the state is politically and just, population-wise. It doesn't really reflect, Nebraska is a mostly white state. This state has a huge population of Latino, Black, Asian population, so.
I'm concerned that he's a politician and he was the president of a private religious affiliated school, and we are a very diverse public institution across the country, and I'm concerned that he doesn't represent the majority of the students and their beliefs. I'm worried that it might be even harder for students at UF to get an abortion.
Yeah, so out of all those things that these woke students claim that scares them so much to the point where they feel like Ben Sasse is a threat. He's a threat to, I guess, women in the LGBTQ community. None of that has to do with his actual job as the president of a university. These people clearly don't know what a president of a university does. A president of a university is not a politician, right? They are not crafting and creating legislation. So they're trying to judge his record as a politician in order to come up with assumptions and conclusions about what he will do as president of the university. A job that mainly is a administrative business executive type role at a university, right? The point of being a president of a university is to lead the university in regards to its priorities, research, finances, again, administrative activities, right? His job is not to be a politician. And these people are not worried about anything that has to do with the actual university and the function of the university, how well ran the university is, which is his primary job. Because if I was these students, I would be worried about, okay, is he going to be able to attract and retain good, prestigious professors? That's what I'll be worried about. Well, why is that? Because the better professors that you have, presumably, the better quality education that you're going to get, right? The more prestigious the school becomes, the more research that the school produces, which is the point of these universities. Outside of teaching these kids, they're supposed to produce research, right? That's what they're supposed to do. However, these kids, because they believe that they're there to party and to be a part of their special clubs, they're more concerned about that, okay, and whether or not they're going to keep their rights that they already have that nobody's taking away from them, because there is no right that they don't have. They're more concerned about that than actually learning, right? Which is what you're supposed to be concerned about, right? If you're going to ask questions to your new president, you should say, how are you going to help me learn more, right? How are you going to help me learn something? But again, these students are not there to learn anything. They're there to be indoctrinated. And they're concerned that this president may take away their indoctrination camps, right? He may interfere with that process, okay? He might ban their clubs or something. What I'll be asking this president or potential president is, how are you going to lower the cost of tuition? Because these woke revolutionaries love complaining about the cost of college and student loan debt to the point where the government has to forgive it. Forgive it. Because it's unfair. Why don't you ask about that? Why are you not concerned about how is the CEO of a college, that's what a president is, he's a CEO, how is he going to help lower costs, right? How is he going to bring down tuition? How is he going to trim the fat, right? Because again, let's be real. The reason why a lot of these universities are so expensive, one of the reasons is because of the fat. Because there's a lot of jobs, a lot of positions that just should not exist at these universities. They are a waste of time, effort, and resources. And a lot of this stuff has to do with woke diversity and inclusion initiatives that just should not exist on these campuses. Because they serve no real functionality, right? They have no positive return on investment. So again, these are the questions that I will be asking. These students are not concerned about that. What they're concerned about is, are you going to ruin my woke wonderland, right? That's what they're more concerned about. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.